Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Standing Committee meeting for Monday, November 2nd, 2020. Council will continue to meet virtually until further notice. All meetings will be live streamed on the city's YouTube channel. Our first order of business is public comment. However, today we have no registered individuals for public comment. Therefore, we will move straight into our Standing Committee agenda. And will the clerk please take the roll?
Reverend Burgess. Mr. Coghill.
Here.
Ms. Gross.
Here.
Mr. Kraus.
Here.
Mr. O'Connor.
Here.
Mrs. Kell-Smith. Ms. Strasburger.
Here.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Lavelle, Chair.
Here.
7 members present.
Thank you. Our first committee for today is Finance and Law, which is chaired by myself. We have one deferred bill, Bill 823.
Bill 823, resolution providing for the issuance of a warrant in the total sum of $250,000 in favor of Saruth Chatterjee as a final settlement related to the actions filed in the Western District Court of Pennsylvania.
Motion to hold for executive session.
We had
Motion to
That was
approve.
held.
Yeah, I did the same thing last week. Motion to approve.
Second.
any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The bill is recommended. That takes us to our new papers, Bill 838.
Bill 838, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Dickey, McCamey, and Kilcoat for professional legal services in connection with the police litigation matter for an amount not to exceed $11,668.90.
Motion to hold for executive session.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Bill will be held.
Mr. Chair, could we read the remaining bills that need to be held? Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Bill 839, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Spillman, Thomas, and Battle for professional legal services in connection with the police litigation matter for an amount not to exceed $6,985.17. Bill number 840, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Thomas and Haffer professional legal services in connection with a police litigation matter for an amount not to exceed $5,448.22. Bill number 841, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Trimble, Kinney, Gerner, and Kerr for professional legal services in connection with a police litigation matter for an amount not to exceed $9,044.80.
Need a motion for all three?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All three bills will be held for executive session. That takes us to Bill 842.
Bill 842, resolution amending resolution 737, which authorizes the Director of Finance to enter into an agreement with City Source Associates for groundskeeping and land maintenance services for properties owned by the 3 taxing bodies by exercising the right to renew for 1 year at an additional cost of $250,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Bill 843.
Bill 843, resolution authorizing pursuant to Chapter 210 of the City Code, the mayor and director of the Office of Management and Budget to accept a donation from the Ford Motor Company of 492-480 Ford face mass valued at $201,916.80 to be distributed to city employees.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Bill 846.
Bill 846, ordinance amending and supplementing the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances, Title I, Administrative Article 11, Human Resources, Code of Conduct offering, soliciting, or accepting gifts to define procedures for the presentations of gifts to public officials by foreign or domestic dignitaries.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Bill is recommended. That takes us to our invoices. Need a motion to approve the invoices.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Voices are approved. That takes us to intradepartmental transfers. Need a motion?
So moved.
So.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And transfers are approved. That takes us to our P cards. Need a motion for the P cards.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Aye.
Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? P cards are approved. That takes us to Public Safety Services Committee, chaired by Councilman O'Connor. One new paper, Bill 844.
Bill 844, resolution authorizing the Citizen Police Review Board to enter into an agreement with the Dentist Group for professional services to assist the Independent Citizen Police Review Board in its review of community police interactions during protests in Pittsburgh for the period May 30th through May 30th, 2020 through June 1st, 2020. Said agreement shall not exceed $25,000 for 2020, subject to the annual allocation by City Council.
Motion to approve.
Second. Very brief discussion, please.
I'll yield to the
Discussion?
sponsor.
Councilman Kraus?
Yeah, thank you. After this had been introduced originally the first time, some members did have some concern around the contract not having gone through a bid process. So under the leadership of Beth Pittenger, the director of the Citizens Police Review Board and the Office of Management and Budget, it did go out for bid and Dentsus was awarded the bid. And then to complement that, all members received a communication from Tim Stevens and BPEP asking the council to support the Citizens Police Review Board's desire to enter into agreement with Dentsus Group. And so under that, I agree to introduce it a second time and ask for members to please support. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further conversation? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all.
Any
Go for it.
opposed?
Opposed?
Opposed also.
2 opposed, Councilwoman Gross and Councilman Coghill. That means the bill is recommended. Thank you. That takes us to our Public Works Committee, chaired by Councilman Coghill. New paper is Bill 834.
Bill 834, resolution granting unto Walnut Street Properties their successors and assigns the privilege and license to construct, maintain, and use of their own cost and expense to install a new projecting sign at 5505 Walnut Street in the 7th Ward, 8th Council District.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Bill is recommended. That takes us to our Land Use Economic Development Committee, chaired by Councilman Wilson. Deferred paper, Bill 684.
Bill 684, resolution approving a new institutional master plan under the Pittsburgh Code Title 9 zoning Article 2, Chapter 905, and Article 7, Chapter 922 for West Penn Hospital Institutional Master Plan dated August 17, 2020 on property zone EMI, Educational Medical Institution District, 8th Ward, Council District Number 7.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing discussion, Councilwoman Gross?
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, just briefly, for the council members who weren't able to see the public hearing, there were really no comments in opposition. In fact, there was only one caller at all, two maybe, kind of a couple. And I think it speaks to the process that West Penn took in their approach to their updated master plan, right? They've spent now, it seems to me, a couple of years in community meetings with the community. I've attended many of them. They were robustly attended and the kind of exchange with the leadership at West Penn and the community members was respectful and constructive. There were some tough issues, as there are going to be in a densely populated area. Many of us in our districts host big institutions or facilities next to crowded residential areas. Parking is a kind of an ongoing struggle where they try things and some of them work and some of them don't, and then they change, but they are, as an institution, very responsive. And if they don't have a magic wand that can fix things, they try. And that I think is what you see when you see an institution kind of come through in their updated master plan without a lot of resistance. So there's goodwill. There's goodwill between the neighborhood and the hospital. Just to remind you all, because it's not your district, this is the West Penn Hospital almost closed a number of years ago before I served on council. And it was Aggie Pros and residents who led an entire demonstration to the doors of the emergency room to lobby for it to stay open, right, when AGH was having a lot of trouble. And so the hospital is doing tremendously well now, provides a lot of jobs for neighborhood residents, and is one of those sites where the hospital staff actually kind of come out of the hospital and shop in the neighborhood, and you could see hospital staff on the streets. That isn't always true of hospital campuses or of any campuses, right, that we have in the city. And it's kind of what you strive for, is for the institution to really kind of be a community member and support the neighborhood. So I just wanted to give them credit where it was due. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bill is recommended. That takes us to our Intergovernmental Affairs Committee, chaired by Councilwoman Gross. First new paper, Bill 835.
Bill 835, resolution authorizing the URA to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, into the following publicly owned properties in the 10th ward of the city, designated in the deed registry office of Allegheny County, located on the north side of Rosetta Street, west of North Pacific, in block 50K, located on the south side of Broad Street between North Millvale Avenue and North Wine Brittle Street, Council District number 9.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'll defer to the councilman, but I don't have any objections. Councilman
Okay.
Burgess, this is District 9. If you've got anything to add.
I don't believe he does.
I'm good.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Bill is recommended. Bill 836.
Bill 836, resolution authorizing the URA to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, into the following publicly owned properties in the 5th ward of the city, designated in the deed registry office of Allegheny County, located on the south side of Anaheim Street, east of Camp Street, and at 821 Chardney Street, Council District number 6.
Motion to approve.
Second.
So I'm supportive, Councilman Lavelle.
I'm fully
Thank you.
supportive. Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Bill is recommended. Bill 837.
Bill 837, resolution authorizing the URA to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, into the following publicly owned properties in the 12th ward of the city, designated in the deed registry office of Allegheny County, located on the west side of Joseph Street between Regis Way and Thompson Street, and on the east side of Rapidan Way and Regis Way and Thompson Street, respectively. Council District number 9.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bill is recommended. That exhausts our agenda for today. We do have some meeting announcements. Next week, Council will meet for our regular meeting on Monday, November 9th at 10 a.m., commencing with the mayor's 2021 budget address. Due to the Veterans Day holiday next week, Council's Standing Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 10th at 10 a.m. To register to speak at these meetings, please call the clerk's office at 9 a.m. by 9 a.m., on November 9th for the regular meeting and by 9 a.m. on November 10th for the Standing Committees meeting. Also, a cablecast public hearing is scheduled for Tuesday, November 10th at 1:30 p.m. on Bills 774, 775, and 776 as they relate to the historic designations of the Gallagher Kiefer House, the Heron Hill Pumping Station, and St. John Vianney Church. To register for this hearing, please contact the clerk's office by 11:30 a.m. November 10th. You may also submit comments for these meetings by emailing City Clerk's Office at pittsburghpa.gov. Please note that written comments will not be read during the meeting. Is there anything from members?
I have a question for the clerk. In terms of the hearings for the historic review, how many of them, are all three of them supported by the owners or not? What's the mix of those, if you know, just off the top of your head?
Yeah, I'm not sure if
Okay.
it's supported or not, but we'll get that information to you as soon as Mrs. Sarah forwarded to us.
Okay, I know one of them isn't. I don't know the rest of them. Okay.
Gallagher
It's St.
Kiefer
John
House is,
Vianney.
Huh?
It's St. John Vianney, and it depends on how you define ownership. If it's the people that built the church who actually own it, or if it's the diocese.
So here's how this works. When you belong to a church, you have decided that you will be part of its legacy. And so you can choose to belong to a church that has ownership, such as the Methodist Church, the Episcopal Church, the Catholic Church. When you join that church, you know that you will never have to search for a pastor. They will appoint the pastor. If your finances get low, the church will then give you extra money because the church ultimately responsible. There are connectional churches that don't have those things. That is that the individual congregation owns the church and they know that they can't, like my church, there is no bigger body that we can go to for a loan or for resources. And when the church gets vacant, the congregation is responsible. It interests me that we're trying to have this new conversation where people have spent their whole life in a denomination, understanding the rules of the denomination, getting the benefits of that denomination, and now somehow by sleight of hand, trying to say that, oh no, we're separate, yet they've received all the benefits. They were born and raised in the church, baptized in the church, have accepted all of its traditions and in orthodoxy, but then they get mad and they decide, oh no, we're separate from the church. That's ludicrous. It is against church polity. Though this is not the time for this conversation, and obviously Mr. Kraus does not want to stick around to have this conversation because, well, you know, he likes to do things behind in secret and not open and in public. And so this is consistent with the rest of his actions. But as I'll say before, this church, there's a poll which is owned, not even questionable. I told you last time, this is what those group of privileged people would do. It's not enough for them to save property. And I told you before, they would go to churches. They want to now decide that they, not necessarily members of, you know, they don't get to choose who the bishop is. That's done by the Pope. But now they decide, these privileged few, that they are bigger than the bishop. They are bigger than the church. And they can defy the church's rules, traditions, and 2,000 years history because they know better. And if they're going to do this for the church, just hold on. We know they're going to come to Black communities and do the same thing. They're going to cherry pick places because they are the privileged ones. They know better than the citizens. They know better than the church. They know that better than everybody what's in the best interest of people. Now, Allentown wasn't good enough for a tax credit, and so they won't give them a tax credit. They won't do anything to build the community, yet they will burden them with a church that cannot be rebuilt now because, well, you know, historic designation makes it much more difficult to be renewed or restructured. And in this particular church, it's not even completely decommissioned as a house of worship because it's under review by the bishop, by the Pope. But they couldn't wait for the Pope to make his determination. No, they have to come in now and defy church law and to designate it. This is another indication of how this process of historic designation is completely and utterly out of hand and should be completely transformed.
Thank you. Any further comments from members? Seeing none, we need a motion to excuse the absent member, approve the minutes, and adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
We are adjourned.